Okay, so we can go ahead and get started. I don't know if anyone has any questions before we get started, but again, we're going to be highlighting the University Writing Center and the Minor Learning Center, and both of those are tutoring resources, and we just want to see what virtual opportunities and what virtual resources they are offering at this time while our students are not necessarily allowed on campus. So we can go ahead and get started with Dr. Lou Herman. Are you able to share your screen? Do you need any?
Let me see.
Okay, perfect.
How's that? Yeah, good?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you everybody for your time this evening. My name is Dr. Lou Herman, Director of the Writing Center, and just want to share with you quickly a little bit about who we are and what we do and how we can help your students while they're at UTEP. So first and foremost, that looks terrible. I'm sorry. We're just going to do it like, I don't know what's happened to my PowerPoint. That's fantastic. So here we go, who we are. I apologize for that. First and foremost, we are a peer-led center, and what that means is that everybody who works at the Writing Center, aside from myself, is a student at UTEP as well. And what this does is it allows students to collaborate a little bit more freely when they come in and they work with other students. And so what we try and do is we try and create an environment where students who are seeking our assistance feel very comfortable in seeking that assistance at the Writing Center. And so we do that by only hiring students who are then trained and given skills to teach other students how to become better writers. So the majority of our employees, although they're students themselves, they have specialized training for writing skills, the teaching of writing and communication. And so, like it says here in my poorly formatted PowerPoint, we are a resource for all UTEP students, as well as faculty and staff. So we help writing with anybody on campus who has to do some sort of communication. We are more than willing to assist people with that. So again, I'm not entirely sure what happened. I apologize. So what we do is, first and foremost, we teach writing skills. A lot of students have this notion that the Writing Center is going to be a place that fixes their writing for them, which is great, and we can do that, but that doesn't give them any sort of skills to apply later on in other classes, in their professional life once they graduate. So what we really want to do is we want to teach the skills to those students, and we do that in a couple of different ways. One is with that collaboration that I was talking about earlier. We actually sit down with the student, we talk with them, we give them the skills, we show them the mistakes that they're making and how they can avoid making those mistakes in the future. And so we give them these skills that aren't just going to be for the paper or whatever piece of writing they have in front of them at the moment, but rather it's going to be for every class that they end up taking from now through graduate school, and then into their professional lives. One of the things I stress most for our students and our employees is that writing is a skill that people judge you by. And oftentimes when your first piece of communication with somebody is through writing, whether it's a resume or a CV or an email to, you know, a potential employer, the first thing that we put ourselves out there with is writing. And so we want that writing to be clear and concise and well articulated. Good writing opens doors for opportunity. Good writing gives students a leg up in the classroom. And so we really want to give them those skills that are not just going to be applicable to their time at UTEP, but rather beyond, and what they're going to have to do once they enter the professional world as well. And so those writing skills are very important. But the other thing that we want to help our students with is guidance, not just for assignments, but also for self-advocacy. I think I have that on another slide, but the idea that self-advocacy is very important for students. We want them to be able to confidently communicate with their teachers, with their employers, with potential grantors, scholarships, whatever it might be. We want to teach them the skills that allows them to go to these people and speak with them with confidence. And so it's not just about the writing that they end up doing on the paper, but rather it's about these skills that through writing, they can open opportunities and possibilities for themselves. So what this one is, like I was saying, writing should be a lifelong skill. And writing is, I equate it very much to practicing a musical instrument. Even the best musicians in the world still practice their instrument, and writing is no different. The more you practice it, the better you're going to get. If you practice with like an expert or a coach or a teacher, you're going to get new insights and you're going to get better at it as well. If you don't do it for a while, you lose some of those skills. So writing is one of those things that has to continually be engaged with for students to get better at it. And that's what we want to encourage them to do at the Writing Center. We want them not to just come to us when they're having trouble or when they need something fixed, but we want them to come to us when they're ready to practice. And so a lot of the materials that we provide for students and a lot of the information that we give to them really encourages them to visit the Writing Center as often as they can. It's not just one of those things where they show up, 12 hours before the paper's due and they want that final polish on it. But what we want them to do is we want them to come to the Writing Center when they first get their assignment and they need help brainstorming. And then a little bit ways through the writing, once they get something on paper, then we want to help them organize their thoughts and make sure that they're on the right track. And then come back a little bit later to make sure the entire thing looks like a cohesive piece, and then come back again. And so you can see how this is recursive, it's revisionist, and we really want the students to engage in this process because this is how they're going to gain those skills that are going to be so beneficial to them. Like I said earlier, writing is often the first contact that you have with somebody. And so, when you put your resume out there to a potential employer, if it has misspellings on it, if it has poor grammatical choices, that's you on a piece of paper. And so we want students to be able to put their best selves forward when they start applying, when they start turning in papers, when they start applying for grants and scholarships and everything else. We want them to be their best on this piece of paper that's going to be their first point of contact. And so again, clear and concise writing really opens doors. When people read, that first point of contact email from a student, when professors get those papers back from students that are well written, they're clear, they've followed the assignment guidelines, just a whole world changes. And so we really want to give the students these opportunities by teaching them these skills rather than just fixing a lot of what we do, a lot of what students have to do for writing at the university. And then again, I apologize. So really what we can expect students to take away from the Writing Center is improved writing skills. And that's not just through like essays for class. Like I mentioned earlier, we will help students compose emails. We will help students finish their resume, apply for scholarships, graduate school, personal statements. There's a slew of other types of writing that students have to do at the university. It's not just the essays for class. And so anytime a student has a piece of communication that they need to hone and they need to practice with, we're the resource that can really help them out with that. So like I said, it's not just essays for class. We'll even help with creative writers, personal essays. Some students like to do fan fiction and their own kind of personal journaling and writing, and we really encourage them to bring that to us as well, again, because that's part of the practice, that's part of the recursiveness of what we do, and it really gets them to engage with this skill that they're going to be using a whole lot. And then again, the self-advocacy. We teach them to advocate for themselves when they speak to their professors, their employers, whomever they are needing to communicate with. We really push that self-advocacy point. The last thing here on this messy slide is we are a multilingual center, meaning that we can engage with the students. We're in El Paso, so primarily English or Spanish. And what this allows students to do is, if they don't feel necessarily comfortable conversing in English, we have tutors who are multilingual themselves. And so the student can come in and maybe they want to have a conversation in Spanish over the English paper. That's completely fine. Maybe they want to come in and they have a little bit more immersion into the English language because the primary language that they're going to be communicating in right now at the university is English. We can help them. We can give them that immersion with the English language. At UTEP, we have several Spanish language degrees as well. And so we can help students with their Spanish language communication as well. So it's multilingual. We often offer services in other languages depending on who I'm able to employ at the moment. But we often do French, a lot of Bhutanese language, since we're sister city with Bhutan. I'm trying to think what else we normally have. Nepalese. There's just a ton of languages, and we're able to offer these services in multiple languages so that students can feel comfortable coming to us and asking for assistance. So it's a free service. This is my favorite part, is when I say it's free. There's not even like a tuition fee on their tuition for this writing center. And so what we really want to show students is that regardless of what discipline they're in, regardless of their future prospects, regardless of where they're at in their skill set for writing, the Writing Center can help them. There's always room for improvement. Even the best writers out there use this collaborative process, and they work with other writers, they have editors, they have people who read their work and give them feedback. And so we really want the students to engage in this collaborative process, because this is how it's going to get better. And then also we want them to learn how to advocate for themselves and use these writing skills to improve their position, improve their grade, improve their prospects, because this is such an important skill that's going to be with them for basically their entire life. It's something that they're going to have to engage with. And so regardless of their discipline, I don't think there's a discipline, college, class on campus that doesn't have some sort of writing component to it. And so that's why it's so important that we are able to provide those resources for the students at UTEP and give them the opportunity to practice this skill. So right now we are currently 100% online for obvious reasons, but students are still able to access our services through our website. And we offer two different types of services for students. The first is a synchronous service, which means it's live. Students can log in through Blackboard. They can visit with a consultant live. We actually have screen sharing software that allows them to share their document with us. And then we actually edit the document on their computer from our end. And so those live sessions mimic as much of an in-person session as we can do, without the computer screen obviously and whatnot, but it gives them an opportunity to chat and ask questions and have those teachable moments while learning from us these skills. The other service that we offer is an email service. And so students can email their papers to us. We get them in our inbox. We take a couple of days to go over them, provide comments and feedback on how they can improve the document, and then send it back to them. So in a typical semester, a lot of students would normally use the Writing Center. We would see between 6,000 and 7,000 students per semester. Funny enough, right now, we're way ahead of that. We are going to break all sorts of student records visiting the Writing Center currently, given the circumstances. We have a lot of students using the service. So I would just, I'd put out to you all as parents of students to encourage your students to use the Writing Center, visit with us, even if it's just to kind of test out, see how they feel, see what they can get out of it. But I think that once they show up, they're going to want to come back and they're going to want to engage in this, because they can almost immediately see the benefit of visiting with somebody for an hour and sitting down and collaborating over their paper and improving their writing. And so again, it's available to all students on UTEP, all full-time, part-time. If you have a student ID number, you can use the Writing Center and you can come and visit with us live. Our website right there, utep.edu/UWC, has all our information on how students can access our services, a little bit more about the services that we provide, how to email your paper to us and get feedback. It's all right there. There's also some like self-help sections of the website. So if we're not available at the time that the student needs help, there is some information on how to format like arguments, how to create references pages, citations, and whatnot. So there's a lot of really great resources on our website. And then obviously that's our email address right there. That's where students can reach out to us and ask questions if they have questions about what they're working on and they're not able to visit us live with our synchronous sessions. So again, just a little bit more information. I've had to, that little blue box there in the corner, that's our normal hours if we were in person. But right now we offer live sessions Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5 p.m. and Fridays, 9 to 3 p.m. on it until our next open business hours. But we will return that paper to them as quickly as we can. But again, on here, this is just some of the features that we offer for students. And what I'd like to highlight on this is really about the process of writing. Writing is something that you have to engage in at multiple points. So from organizing your thoughts, to writing the piece, all the way down to the very final stages of polishing it and making sure that your punctuation and your formatting are all in the right spot before the student turns the paper in. We really want the students to engage with us at multiple. They really get the sense of, you know, this is something that I can do. You know, we hear it a lot at the Writing Center. Oh, I'm a terrible writer. There's no such thing. I don't think there's no such thing as a terrible writer. There's only practicing writers, and we're all at different stages of practice. And so when we start looking at it like that, we can see where we need to be and where we need to go from where we're at. So again, please encourage your students to use the Writing Center. It's an excellent resource. It's free. They can use it as many times as they like throughout their academic career, and then hopefully they will gain these skills to go out into the professional world, whatever their goals are after graduating from UTEP, and be better for the skills that they have. So that's my short presentation on the Writing Center. Does anyone have any questions for me? And again, I apologize for the it looked good on my computer before I put it up there, and then suddenly I pop it up there and it's awful. So any questions for me?
I have a quick question regarding it. Well, okay, so I couldn't see the times that you all are available. So if you could maybe put that in the chat, that would be great.
You bet. I'll put that in the chat.
Okay. And then I had a question. I know you were saying like the consultation for like English as a second language is available for like French and Spanish. But for students who have like papers in French or papers in Spanish, like, is that a possibility?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we do have several degree programs that are Spanish language degree programs at UTEP. And so absolutely, we can help in Spanish, we can help in English, and we can offer assistance in any combination of English and Spanish for whatever writing they're trying to produce.
Okay. And then also, I know, I mean, you mentioned writing as, you know, a skill in developing cover letters and resumes. Do you specifically offer help with that, or is that like a career services thing, or?
So we do, the UTEP does have the UTEP Career Center who helps students produce resumes as well. What they're very good at is the formatting and the inserting of information into your resume. What we work on and what we help with on resumes is knowing your audience and tailoring your resume to your audience. So what we really encourage students to understand is that, you know, the resume going to Boeing might need to look different than the resume going to Google. It's not the same resume. And so if they're producing different types of resumes for their audience, they actually have a better chance of getting that interview. And so we work more on the audience awareness side of the resume, while the Career Center does a really good job on the formatting and how to put information into a resume.
Okay, great. That makes sense. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Herman? Okay, well, I listed your website, and then I can also, if you want to put your email, or I can pass it along, or if you have a general email, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, I'll put my email in there, as well as our main work email.
Okay, great.
For the students, so they can contact us. Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That was really great.
Okay, well, thanks for having me, everybody.
Okay, and so our next virtual tutoring resources is Vanessa Martinez, and she's the director of the Minor Learning Center. And Vanessa, whenever you're ready.
Awesome, thank you for having me.
Sí.
Nice to meet everyone. Pleasure seeing you all. So with regards to the Minor Learning Center, we were founded about 5 years ago, and we are located in the library as well. We are in 205, and we typically assist with tutoring for courses that are considered historically difficult. So students who are coming in, freshman, sophomore courses, who are not used to, courses that have 100 to 400 students, because they're used to their smaller high school courses. So it can be a little bit overwhelming. So what we try to do with our review sessions in particular is to offer a smaller environment where students who are enrolled, let's say in history, political science, astronomy, can come in and participate with their peers. And then we have our tutors, our peers themselves, who received an A in the course, and were nominated by the faculty that they're supporting. So they are familiar with the faculty. They meet with the faculty regularly, and they discuss the content weekly that's going to be covered in the review sessions. So we invite students to come in, and typically we have anywhere between 5 to 20 students. A lot of times during review time for exams, we have, up to maybe, like last week, we had about maybe 53 participate. And all our services are currently online as well. So we do our review sessions through Zoom, and I will be showing you our website in a little bit with regards to how to look at our schedule, but we offer both these group review sessions as well as one-on-one tutoring sessions. So I asked, when Jessica invited me to present, I asked my staff to kind of put together a little description of what we do from each person's perspective. So I wanted to share that with you, and then I'll kind of go into what we, who we are and how we help a little bit further after the video. So let me go ahead and share screen with you here. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right.
The Minor Learning Center is an undergraduate tutoring center for historically difficult courses. Many of those courses are in core curriculum as well as the natural sciences. We were founded in 2015 and are located in the library. This semester, our services are offered completely online. We offer both individual tutoring as well as group review sessions. A group review session takes place 3 times a week, and individual takes place throughout the week from Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Fridays from 9 to 1, and Sundays from noon to 5 p.m. Students have the opportunity to make their request. The one-on-one tutoring is synchronous and given in 30-minute increments. MLC online tutoring consists of one-on-one and group review sessions throughout the week to help enhance the understanding of material that is taught in class. MLC tutors have already taken the course that they are tutoring for, and they work very closely with the professor throughout the semester. This means that tutors are very prepared to help students succeed in class because they already know all the material that's going to be covered, and they already know all the class expectations and the professor's expectations. Another aspect that makes the Minor Learning Center different from other tutoring centers on campus is that tutors do not just go over material. Instead, they teach students study skills and test-taking skills that can be used in the future for other classes. Now let's meet some of our MLC online tutors so they can share their own experiences. I'm Martinez, and I am a political science major tutoring astronomy 1307.
My name is Ana Rodriguez. I'm a tutor at the Minor Learning Center for Political Science, and I've worked at the Minor Learning Center for a year now, in which I've supported various history and political science courses.
Hello, my name is Emma Zamora. I'm a past tutor at the MLC and also team leader. I've been with the Minor Learning Center for a year now, and I've really enjoyed my time here, and I've learned a lot.
So in case you're wondering, what is the MLC?
MLC tutoring is very different from individual binder tutoring because it's very much peer-centered, as in students teach students. Students work together, not competitively, to get the best grade that they can in their class. We do activities such as taboo, Kahoot, outline, mind maps. We work in a variety of different ways to target all types of learners, not just actively listening to a lecture or writing down notes all the time. We use a variety of forms that gets the students to learn better because we target these different types of learning forms.
Group review sessions generally last about an hour, whereas individual tutoring is divided into 30-minute increments for each student. Students can sign up for sessions using the mobile app or browser called Kenji, where they will sign up using their student credentials, join a designated course, and view the dates of group sessions as well as when the tutor is available for any individual tutoring throughout the week.
Currently, all of our services are online. We build our schedule according to the student's needs. Then they are able to review it and sign up to the Kenji app, which is very simple to use. All they have to do is find their class and then select the modality that they wish. We have one-on-one tutoring, which covers more of a personalized session, but we also have group review sessions, on which we go over games and activities that we as tutors prepare for students to review the material. Once they sign up, they will get an automatic confirmation to their email, on which they will receive the details to join Zoom the day of the meeting.
Tutors are also able to reach the class through Blackboard announcements, where they can share their schedule, their reminders, any informational videos, and also their contact information so that students can reach them prior or after a group session or an individual tutoring session. The goals of the session are to provide students with study strategies and activities that will benefit the student in the course as well as in other future courses. We want to ensure that students feel comfortable and confident about a subject and being able to do them on their own, which is why we emphasize independent learning through the activities that we create so that not only are they able to do them with their peers, but they're also able to do them on their own.
The format online has definitely changed, but students still really like the interactive games that we use. For example, Kahoot, quizzes, Final Jeopardy, matching games are all really fun. We really enjoy interacting with each other through these games. It takes away all of the stress of having to turn on their mic or their camera. The MLC's primary interest is to provide students the abilities and skills that will help students in the long run with any class they may be taking. Students are able to practice and experiment with such skills through the fun and interactive activities that we as tutors provide for them during the session. Whenever we are creating sessions, we take into consideration the students' needs, the class, and the different learning styles. Some of my favorite things to go over with students are study skills such as note-taking, different ways to organize the information, memorization techniques like mnemonics, analogies, different study techniques for different learning styles, but we also talk about the appropriate way to approach a professor and the proper mindset to face an exam. Overall, these sessions can provide a lot of great study ideas to the students that will help them in other classes. And students eventually become independent. I've had some students who used to come regularly, and then as the semester goes on, they don't need my help anymore. And they eventually become independent because they take the tools that they learn in the sessions and they use them on their own. And I always used to get emails with some students just saying like, thank you for showing me this. So it does really help. And I think the MLC really helped me as well when I took this class. So I'm very happy to be a part of it.
Tutors benefit immensely from open communication with the professor by meeting every week and sharing what activities they have planned, sharing updates from the students, and also allowing the professor the opportunity to give the tutors any pointers or advice on what they should emphasize in the session.
The professor and I, we get along really well. We check in with each other all the time just to make sure we're doing good in this crazy situation that we're all in. But yeah, the professor works with me and I work with him to market the minor learning center to get more people to return. As tutors, we develop establish weekly meetings on which we discuss the class expectations, common misconceptions, the things on which students are struggling, as well as techniques to get more participation and help students. This way, our sessions become custom-made for each class. As for the students, I am not an authority. Instead, I am just a peer that wants to help. We understand each other, so this allows us to create a friendly environment in which they are able to trust me and come to me whenever they need assistance. Ultimately, I become their sidekick in this challenging but yet exciting adventure by guiding them and advising them through something that we've already went through.
Now that we have heard a little bit more about the MLC and the MLC online students, let's hear from one of our MLC's former students. How always in the class that they are supporting and they have identified successful learning strategies that are tailored for that specific class. They look actually to have a close relationship with the professors and what I think is strategy is that they really like the class that they are doing. They really want to experience with them, they want to see the growth, and we are there for you to do that every day. What I like most about attending sessions was going through and using the materials in simple ways and doing fun activities. I'm not the type of person that needs to be writing down the activities in order to learn better. And it's something I really got out of this challenge. So I entered more and more sessions where I had studied for any class increase, and that's because I acquired learning strategies, speaking methods, reading techniques that I didn't have before. So yeah, the activities that I did in that session have to for other classes as well. Now that you have learned a little bit more about the Minor Learning Center, we hope you will visit us soon. We are located in the library room 205. Thank you for watching.
So that's a little bit about who we are, where we're located, and I kind of wanted to share our website so you can kind of get an idea of how the schedule right now online is structured for us. So I'm going to go ahead and share that with you here. Okay, so this is our website here. It's just utep.edu/MLC for Minor Learning Center. You go to our schedule and then you go to online MLC schedules. And so you have a distinction here between either individual tutoring or online review sessions, depending on what you're looking for. And then here you have instructions on how we use our booking method. So here with the online reviews, you know, let's say for example, you're in Art 1300, that's a common class for freshmen. You have a list of the different reviews that are taking place. And then all the booking is through Penji. So once you either download the app or, you know, utilize Penji via the desktop, you log in and then you'll see, you'll add Art 1300 as a class that you want support in. And then you'll see the listed times with the leader that you're wanting to get support in, whether it's Iris because she's supporting Professor Ann Perry, or Molly because she's supporting Davinia Mirabal, because they are instructor specific. So you'll choose based on the instructor and then sign up, and like the tutors were mentioning earlier, you get a confirmation via email, and then also a couple of minutes before you get another email letting you know, reminding you about the review session you signed up for. Or if you're looking more for one-on-one, as we mentioned in the video, the online individual tutoring, we have the list here, and this is the full, you know, amount of time that Iris, for example, is available. But when you book through Penji, you'll see that it's based on 30-minute increments. So if there's like something bigger, a bigger assignment that you know you're going to want more than 30 minutes, then you're always welcome to book 2 appointments back to back. But that's currently how we are running our scheduling and how we are running our sessions, both individual and as well as the reviews. Everything is, as far as the platform, it's through Zoom right now. With regards to our MLC resources here, we also have student resources available, different study tips, effective reading techniques. As the tutors mentioned, that this is also something that they integrate within their sessions. So they get the content because they did well in the course, because of course they're required to have gotten an A in the course to support the class. And then they integrate the content with how to, how to study and share those different study techniques through fun ways, like they were mentioning, either whether it's Kahoot or Taboo. These are all still activities that are fun and have been useful online as well, and quite popular. And then lastly, the other thing I wanted to mention with regards to additional supports that you might want to be familiar with as students, if you click here, this will take you to the UTEP Tutoring, which is also a site that I oversee, and this will list all of the supports available, including, of course, the Writing Center, our center, the Math Center, ACES, which is specific to engineering, the Liberal Arts Student Success Center. So you have the links here that it'll automatically populate, so that if you want their hours and information, it'll take you there, or you can download a PDF, a friendly PDF here, and keep that close to you as well. So anytime you're looking for any kind of supports on campus, you have it accessible here at your fingertips. Okay. Are there any questions with regards to the Minor Learning Center or virtual, how we do tutoring virtually, or anything else?
Vanessa, good evening. How many people are using your center at this time?
Right now, since the fall semester, we've had close to 500 students participate in our center.
Good. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Vanessa, I also, just because I'm, I know the Minor Learning Center a little bit. I used to actually work for the Minor Learning Center, but can you, I don't know if this is still the case, but can you speak to how this also presents itself as an employment opportunity for students who do get those A's in those classes?
Absolutely. That's a great point, just because, yeah, the majority of our staff are all referred because they themselves were students themselves participating in our sessions as, freshmen and sophomores, and they attended our sessions enough that they either knocked on my door and said, I really enjoy, these review sessions, and I'm wondering how I can work here. And then at that point, I refer them to the faculty that they want to support. And if they provide that reference and want them to be their new support and continue on, because they're our current student is graduating, which is usually the case, then yeah, we make that transition. But the majority of the students that work in the Minor Learning Center are all there because they themselves were participants of our review sessions.
Okay, we have a question. I have a question, but is reelected on the tutoring. I'm not sure what that might mean.
Do they want to?
Sorry, it's unrelated to the tutorings.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I was wondering, where can I call or email about the transferring, because my daughter is transferring from EPCC to UTEP and she kind of needs help with the transferring thing.
Okay, let me put the parents' email in there on the chat, and then it's parents@utep.edu, and if you want to just email us that question, and then we can figure out where to shoot off your inquiry.
And I can also use that email to call for scholarship opportunities and etc.
Yeah, we can, whatever you have a question for, we'll help facilitate that and send you in the right direction. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Vanessa, I had a question. Oh yeah, point is that all of these classes, like freshmen and sophomore, have to take. So at some point you have to take these classes. So the MLC is relevant for all freshmen, all sophomore. It just, it depends on the professor, but all of these classes are core courses, and so you're gonna have to take these classes, and so it's better to take them with this resource available than take it, without a professor that hasn't coordinated with the MLC.
Yes, and then on Goldmine, it's actually listed under attributes when they're looking at Goldmine. It'll say, supported by Minor Learning Center. So we always tell students who are coming in as freshmen and going through orientation to kind of look out for a course that's supported by us, so that way they can anticipate that additional support if they choose, and we, of course, we would recommend it. And it's also just, not even just for the study skills and, but it's just nice to have that peer interaction. I think it can be difficult on freshmen and sophomores it can be a little bit overwhelming as far as getting to know individuals on campus. And so it's a great way to get to know peers. A lot of times what my tutors have mentioned is that they notice that when, they do put them in groups, because they do a lot of group activity, is that, they start exchanging numbers and emails. And so it's a great way to meet like-minded peers and form those study groups and those relationships, those college relationships. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah, that's great. And then that's great that you have that whole list of other tutoring resources. So I put that in the chat also, so folks can check it out. But does anyone have any other questions? I guess if I don't know if I don't know how you schedule it basically. I saw obviously the video, but I don't know if there's anything that folks need to download, or if they need to.
The Penji app, it's like a little penguin, and if they do choose to download it via phone, because the sessions can take place on their, a laptop or desktop, or if they prefer to utilize and have their session through the desktop, they could do it that way. So they can choose, but we do encourage them to download the app. And then we worked with UTEP Enterprise so that it's single sign-on. So it's not like something new where they have to recreate another account. They just go to the app, enter their UTEP information. The single sign-on will populate, and then they're automatically in. They have their account from there, and then it's just a matter of adding the courses that they're wanting support in. Yeah, and then one thing I wanted to mention is that the courses are commonly core, especially with liberal arts, but the reason why I mentioned in the beginning that it's more historically difficult courses versus just core is because we do offer support also in upper level sciences. We have had quite a bit of faculty recently ask for support in the sciences and biology in particular, so we do offer those 3,000 level course supports as well. So usually it's what we look for is, courses where we know that students could benefit and utilize that extra study group, that smaller kind of review session where we see it would be beneficial.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Vanessa. Does anyone have any questions or comments? I think that was really great information, but we can send out more information on our email in case anybody missed it right now. But yeah, I think that was really great. Dr. Herman, I'm sorry, go on.
One last thing I wanted to mention is that even if, let's say, for example, somebody is in history right now, for example, and they don't see that we're supporting that particular instructor, we've actually had a couple of students from other courses ask if they could attend, and we don't, we definitely welcome everyone. We just say that that instructor syllabus might be different from the one that we're supporting, so to just keep that in mind. But anyone who wants to just kind of get an idea of how the review sessions are going, they just utilize their UTEP credentials, can sign in, and then add the course that they want the support in, regardless of whether they're enrolled in that course, and kind of check us out. So thank you so much, Jess, for inviting us. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you all get the opportunity to visit us.
Yeah, and congrats on your move also.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Herman, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, again, just thank you very much for your time this evening. Nice to see people involved with their students' lives. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you all so much, and we'll be in touch and let you know more information on both programs and follow-up questions in case anybody has any. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.